Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Bequest Miniatures, and today we will have a look at this pretty little gem here, or book. It's called Wargaming Interviews, Volume 3, and it's published by Wombat War Games and part of Shadows of Centralis, and it's edited by John Wombat and Ruth Moreira. This book is the third one of the series, and it's based on the Shadows of Centralis monthly magazine, and all interviews were published in this magazine. And why I show you this book today is because I was part of this project. I was part in one of the monthly magazines back in the year 2022, where I was at the beginning from Bequest Miniatures, and John is a very nice guy, and he asked me some questions, and yeah, we covered now this interview in this book. And also Mustafa Bekir is part of it now, the Oldhammer artist who did the concept art for the Rock Trader, like miniatures, the Star Rogues. People who know my work will know also his concept art, and we will later have a closer look at it. Also, we covered new pictures and edited some parts of the interview, so yeah, it's very cool to be part of this project, and John is a very nice guy, so I'm gladly or happy to be part of it and to show you some of the parts today. Not everything, I don't want to spoil everything, but a little bit the part where I'm covered. And yeah, we will have a look at this now. And it's not sponsored, but John was so kind to send me this book over, and I will put you some links in the description, so if you're interested in this Wargaming Interview series, you can have a look there. And it covers much more people from the miniature and wargaming scene. Here in this book we have Ian Miller, Eddie Wood, Paul Reed, Juhu Minerva, better known as a Mutant Modifier on Instagram, Green Davis, Paul Cockburn, myself, Jonas from Bequest Miniatures, and John Robertson, who did the miniature line from Ian Miller, or based on Ian Miller's art under Myriad Miniatures. So it's very cool. Yeah, we will try that out as a little new project. I'll show you something here. If you like this video, you know, subscribe to my channel, leave a like and a comment, and yeah, we will see. Now have a closer look inside. Okay, now let's open this book up and have a closer look at the single pages. Much colorful pictures you can see here with cool miniatures. We have Rel Parfer here, we have the Mutant Modifier, lots of cool Oldhammer converted miniatures, high resolution pictures everywhere you can see here, and yeah, it's a very high production value, I would say. Yeah, now we have my part, Bequest Miniatures, and me, Jonas. Let's see what we have here. In my part, I was asked in the beginning which were my roots for tabletop in miniature wargaming. I talk a little bit about the mid-80s and the early 90s, and how I get involved into tabletop games, mostly Games Workshop and Warhammer. Also, we can see here pictures of the Assault Star Rogues. Here we have the greens on the bottom, and also pictures of the painted Star Rogues and the Shambling Bones. These painted pictures are made by Mustafa Bekir, who painted the Shambling Bones in a very cool blue tribal warrior style. The Star Rogues very grimdark and gritty. Yeah, so very cool to see the miniatures here in big colorful pictures. On the next pages I was asked a little bit about influences, so which famous sculptors were influences for my sculpting work. Mostly the old school Citadel sculptors like Bob Ollie, Kev Adams, Ellie Trish Morrison and Jess Goodwin and so on. Also, we have here pictures again of painted Shambling Bones, the regiment that I painted actually, and also the goblins and gobblers that I made this year. I talk a little bit further about how I started with BeQuest miniatures, how I came to sculpt miniatures from scratch. For instance, I decided to start with the first Kickstarter as the Shambling Bones because skeletons were my first real tabletop miniatures when I started with it. So yeah, that's very cool to see it here. On the next pages, we have a closer look at some fantasy adventurers here. This one is influenced by Ralph Bakshi and his version of the Lord of the Rings. Also, I got a question about which books I read, and yeah, I'm a very keen reader, so I have some a list of books which I recommend for authors. Furthermore, some information about the Shambling Bones. Here we see a concept art that Mustafa Bekir made for one of the skeleton characters, another picture on top from the skeleton regiment, the skeleton multi-part kit, which I sculpted a little bit later. This was a metal kit where you get some terrain pieces and head variations and weapon variations for rank and file miniatures of the skeletons. Yeah, and also here a little bit more information is about the further Kickstarter projects that followed up after the skeletons, the Shambling Bones, the fantasy adventurers, and the Star Rogues. The next pages then were presenting Mustafa Bekir, so he got a chance to talk a little bit about his beginning of tabletop and wargaming, and also how we met and how the collaboration started to make the Star Rogues happen. And you see on the right hand side some of his concept art. Every single miniature he did a single concept for the Star Rogues, and the next pages are all full of his high resolution concepts. We see the normal Star Rogues, there are the ones with the flamer and special weapons. We have also the newer Soul Star Rogues, which were successfully funded on Kickstarter last year. So it's very cool to see all those great concept art here. Yeah, if you don't know Mustafa Bekir or Spefna Studio, please check him out. I'll put you the links in the description. Yeah, on this page we have also the veggies, which were a very fun project, or veggie goblins. Yeah, started as a sculpting contest, which I took part in, all freaky little vegetable fighters. On top we have the first goblin regiment, which I sculpted with the command unit, and they were successfully funded earlier this year. And in the next pages we can see the fantasy adventurers on top, or some of the fantasy adventurers, and the greens from some of the demons, the Change in Black demons from my last Kickstarter, which ended last month. We see here the greens from them. It's a very cool project. To the point where I worked at the book, I didn't have the miniatures in metal finished painted, so you can only see the greens here. And on the last pages here you can see a close-up of the Star Rogues and a list of all the Kickstarter projects, 7, which I did until now, and there will be more in the future for sure. And they were all successfully funded, and I'm very proud of the many miniatures that I sculpted until now. The interview was held in 2023, so I was at the beginning, and now I made a lot more projects. And what's also cool is I got a question here about how I sculpt and about my techniques. Talk about how to build armatures, how I use the putty, which tools are my favorite. You can also see videos on my YouTube channel how I sculpt. Talk a little bit what I do besides when I'm sculpting, like hearing some music. What is my motivation for this? So yeah, keeping the oldtimer spirit alive, keeping hand-sculpted white metal miniatures alive and available for the younger generations, but also for everyone who enjoys collecting them. So yeah, that's everything in this book about me. Further here you can see John Robertson from Myriad Miniatures. He made a collaboration with Ian Miller, and you can see the cool miniatures he did there. So you should definitely check this book out. It's very cool. And yeah, if you like this video, please subscribe, leave a like and leave a comment. I have a big collection of board games, oldtimer books and miniatures which I can show to you guys if you like this new format I'm testing out here. Yeah, and check out the description for all the links which I put you there. And yeah, thank you for watching, and until the next time.